There's different ways that we experience trauma, little traumas, big traumas in the body. And our nervous system has a way of keeping these imprinted. For me, I have a series of incidences during my childhood, both in school settings and also at home, where there were stories or feedback given to me of, some embarrassment, or I didn't know better, or I should know better. So when I would speak up in front of people, I would doubt myself. And so then I would start to shake and cry sometimes, or I just wouldn't speak at all. Or I'd have these outbursts in my classroom when I was a student, because I was acting out to get attention, because I was trying to mitigate the shame and embarrassment when I didn't know the answer to certain problems when I was called upon. And so over time, when I became a young professional and coming into meetings or meeting with clients, I would contract in fear because I was perceiving that I didn't know enough. I had a story that I wasn't smart enough. I need to know the answer. So I was putting all this pressure on myself. And so when I recognized through my learning here at the Institute that I want to bring this work into the world because of those experiences that I had, not being able to speak my voice in a way that was listened, not being able to have this power where I didn't know and I could ask for help in a safe way. Those were not modeled for me. So I wanted to learn how to provide a safe space for others to be able to say, you know what, I don't know. And our interpretation of what a leader is a leader is not an expert. A leader is someone who can show up in power, in being able to say, you know what, I don't know the answer to that, but let's explore it together. But because I was putting on this pressure for myself to know, there was some shame and embarrassment when I was in public settings. So what I would do is I would go to town halls, I would go to my local gym, and I would ask questions. Even if I didn't have a question, my intention and my practice was to go to these events, to ask a question, to observe my body in the fear response. So what would happen, which was very familiar to me because this was how it was when I was growing up and I learned to avoid it and not engage here, was when I would speak up and ask a question, I would notice my heart rate. Just even when I was thinking about asking a question, my heart rate would increase. My breath would go up high. I was holding up here and I couldn't even feel my feet, couldn't feel my lower body. And there was a gulp in my throat. My eyes would well up. I would turn all red. I would ask my question, knowing that I'm doing this intentionally to observe what's happening in my body. So when I would ask my question, just for the sake of practice, because I want to learn how to be in front of people to bring this work into the world, I would observe what was happening in my body. And I was also trying to pay attention to the answer to my question. And oftentimes when I was beginning in this practice of discomfort, noticing the physiological response in my body, I couldn't hear the answer because I was so in fear and consumed. My body was so overwhelmed that I would just tune out and notice okay, that's over. I can sit down or I can breathe. Okay, settle in, notice what's happening. And the more I did that, and the more I observed my body, when I first did it, sometimes people would give me this response and I was looking for it of, oh my gosh, she's asking this question, or at least that was my perception. What is my identity? Oh my gosh, people think this question is stupid. And then I learned to say, you know what? I can ask this question because more often than not, it was a service to the people in the room, because oftentimes other people would have the question I did, but were in fear of asking it themselves. So that was not my intention with this. So then I learned to build this body of confidence, to ask these questions, to not be shy about it, and to notice what was happening. And the more that I noticed and realized, oh, I can celebrate, I'm still alive, I'm still breathing. The more I got comfortable, the more I expanded at my edge of comfort and discomfort. And now I can lead these sessions. I can be in person with hundreds of people. And yeah, I get excited and nervous, but it doesn't stop me. And my heart rate, I don't turn all red. You see, there's not tears welling up in my eye. I'm not in panic at all. I'm able to drop in, drop down, and have a very different presence because I was able to step into that edge and move forward.